Hello, family. It's Irene Ratliff. Today I decided to do this video, and I had stopped one of them before because I was going all over the place like I'm doing right now. I'm like, okay, let me get comfortable, and oh gosh, I'm doing the same thing. Anyway, let's just try to get on it. So anyway, what happened was is that I was on my Facebook this morning or yesterday morning. I had went and ran an errand. Um, and when I came back, I could not access my account. So I was like, okay, well, what's going on? When I looked, it was some person that was not me. They changed the picture, they changed the name to Hunter Hayes, and then I tried to change it back and contact the Facebook, and then it came back to me in Vietnamese. And so anyway, I was just like, OMG, and what happened was is that, I think that I had a logo, a slogan. It was don't delete our history or something like that, or we want to keep our history. And for Facebook, to have access to be able to suspend our accounts or to delete them, I was opposing to that, And when Mark had went and spoke with Congress and the senators and stuff about account access and accessibility and what happens to the accounts and by it being privatized and everything, I was like, Lord have mercy, even if the government is involved in it. um, I mean, there's just a lot of access. I mean, can you imagine the amount of what are those things called again? Those I want to say CD-ROMs, but yeah, them ROMs. Okay, I mean that's just a lot of data. I mean, if we were looking at worldwide, it's a lot of data. So the technology scope kind of got me a little concerned. I mean, if they were just able to do that, and what happened? Oh, okay. So hold up before I go into all of that. But the thing is I'm thinking for them to be like a super engine, like Twitter or LinkedIn or any of those other popular ones that we find, that they should be a little bit more improved at trying to secure an account, especially one that has been seasoned without any problems, than to say, okay, it's suspended for X amount of weeks. Okay, not even a day. I mean, apparently they don't have enough team power to talk about cybersecurity or anything like that. You know what I mean? For the accounts. I mean, there was some concerns even with Facebook, when it came down to people posting certain things. I thought it was a little unfair that they decided that they wanted to delete account or suspend it. And then yet, the police or even some other people of interest could have been looking at whatever was going on. I mean, we had some horrific activities, Facebook activities or live stream activities that didn't need to be suspended because they want to say their community. Um, I mean, man, we've seen some people, man, just on Facebook and they just lost their life and shit like that. I mean, this is sad. You know what I mean? Not on Facebook, but other streams. But anyway, so I'm not on Facebook. I'm a little. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I could see if it was just flying up the hot colors and everything like that, then we would have been talking about BB&D all day. Business building and development. Some of the people that would contact me, I mean, we were just, shooting the breeze. I mean, there was nothing really concrete, like we were trying to build something or talk. So I don't know. What I mean is like, hey, how you doing? What you doing? What's the weather like? I mean, it was just, like that, little basic stuff. So I really didn't find that to be that kind of communication. You know what I'm saying? Like we were trying to really bounce balls as big as day. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about blue. Lord have mercy. But anyway, but I think that what it was is because after me trying to sign on to the account again later today, um, I had came home. We had for um, for March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day, And when I came home, you know, I mean, I think that whatever that was, like you just trying to enjoy your, you know how like maybe you're trying to enjoy your evening after an activity. I mean, I think there's something else with that too. You trying to enjoy your evening or your day after an activity. It's almost no different than people who probably take a trip and say they need a vacation from the vacation. But there are certain things that you may do in public that you are things that you're able to, let's say afford differently. If you were, differently from going out to an activity or like a restaurant, that's where we're talking about, and then being at home. So the same thing that you may like that $10 beer could have been, you could have got you another, six pack or something. You know what I mean? It's just not one glass you can have. So anyway, when I came home, I was just trying to find myself relaxing a little bit differently. Same thing, because when I get home, I be trying to get on to here it is my little game and stuff like that, right? So I was just, I had my little sip. I'm just okay, putting up my recliner and everything, just saying, okay, well, it's already, I did some errands, I made a little trip. But anyway, the point is that when I came home and I just started to just kind of unwind, I mean, I was just like, just that little thought about, you know, doing something for someone, and then a little bit amount of, I said, Lord have mercy. And I'm asking, and I have repeatedly asked, we're going into like a something else thought, type thing. And I'm like, wow, for real, what is the problem? Right. And so I started to look at um, ourselves here in the city of Los Angeles, looking at our history coming up to X amount of time, looking at some of the things that these people have done. I talked about 5150. 5150 out here is, talking about here it is, we're, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs around here, you see. And I was just like, for real, we got Hollywood and stuff. There's a lot of people who know what's going on with society, maybe a little differently than here it is, just my simple complaints. But what it was is that I just started to generate some of the thoughts or some of the things that I've been hearing that I'm asking, well, city of Los Angeles is X amount of years old. What is the issue? I know that here it is. I've been like X marks the spot. Just a lot of different things. And I'm just like, wow, other people are knowing or just at a visible and listening in an ear and listening and seeing, what these what is happening with sky weapons. Okay, so I was just like, wow, I mean, from early on to talk about a riot, and then I'm like, well, a riot. I mean, well, why would we tear up our own thing to that point, making a comment to an area that I was, had an interest, and then them saying something. So anyway, the thought was, um, what do you suppose that these people are trying to plan up? I mean, because if we're just looking at a basic thing of somebody and their livelihood, and then they're telling people this is what we're going to do to this good soul, and we want you to watch what we're doing to this person. Not only are we looking at a live domestic abuse type thing, but then when you look at an execution, there's people, there's witnesses that go in and they see an execution, right? And then, the thing is, we got people who are fighting for people's rights on death row. Okay, so I mean, it just kind of went to an extreme, right? Like, what is the problem? Like, what is really, really going on? Why is that noise want us to accept whatever it is that it's trying to tell us or say to us, and then be at a point where they're trying to press, Here it is, how we just the privacy of our own home, or even to go back and forth about our financial stability, or right now we're just going right into here it is uh, domestic concerns, okay? Because I'm like, for them to be like, okay, well, we want these people to look and then talk about domestic terrorism, then that's something, that ain't mental health. That's direct. That's direct human rights. That's direct chick. Okay. That's, I mean, so right now the thing is for Street Meat Company, I ain't gonna lie to you. Right now I'm ready to start sending writing out some things, which I have done before. I have not gotten the feedback that I would like to have in return. I will, start getting in contact. And I think that I had said something about to the Department of Justice, along with the Department of Justice. I mean, NASA, NSA. I mean, yes, yes, because I'm Homeland Security. I mean, a lot of people are flying drones. We have air rights, but this thing right here, it looked like a common something, but I'm sorry. I'm just like, I try to take care of myself, Oh, well, here it is. I said, well, honey, if that's the only thing, it wouldn't be the reason. I mean, no, 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 no. Uh-huh. It's just something else, okay? It is. So anyway, that thought went into the conversation of war. I guess it was just like, okay, when we're looking at Oklahoma and what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was the United States military doing some wrong inside of the state of Oklahoma. Okay, that was a military action that took place in Oklahoma. That's the reason why you may hear these people, they're going back and forth. It's just not a black thing or talking about here it is. Okay, the young man was, working as a shoe shine or whatever, and then just something just pop a pow, we just got there like that. No, that was a military force act that took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You understand? So looking at ourselves here in homeland, in the United States, and then we could go back and forth and talk about people who are coming from different places, because you get a person in a minute talking about they people came, they migrants and all that. Okay, outside of that, to look at what we're witnessing with somebody who's with the force. Okay, so I call it invisible government, um, doing some things to us, and then they want it to be live or publicized, like it's under, like it's, no, no, not like, but no, it is. When there was this little TV show before we went, it was a movie or a TV show before we end up getting reality TV, where it wanted to show, or the conversation was there's people who were behind the computers and stuff like that, and and then the people were in these rooms, and then they started to intensify depending on how many people did this, and I'm like, Lord have mercy. It said, and when you looked at that little video, whatever that was, it was a live execution. Okay, so they were doing some things, and they was like, "Oh, look at the computer. This is talking about technology. Oh, look, we hear this person. Oh, look what. Oh, look, we're asking them what they're doing." I said, "Lord have mercy." And this something looking at it, and then it's just like, okay, well, you know what? Well, where do you at what point? Oh, with the black people or the white people? I'm like, well, there was a lot of white people who were looking before we wanted to be like, Lot and everything like that. You see. So if that being in that conversation, why do you suppose that those people were going back and forth with it trying to be a racial thing? So anyway, the other day, I was at this place, and it was a light-skinned man with an afro, a white man with an afro with his white father. And I don't know what his father may have said, but the young man who had the white man who had the afro, because a lot of us would have identified him as, you know, black or negroid, but with white looking. And he was just like, he didn't find any particular favor over here it is, the hue. even though his father was probably was like, well, okay, well, listen, I had you. The woman was black, you're white. You know what I mean? So maybe at that point when he was just like, ugh, you know, maybe the father just felt it's a kind of way. You know what I mean? So for them, anyway, that being said, for them to go back and forth and be trying to sell to me, here it is, interracial relationships, and then be like, okay, well, here it is. And I'm like, over this little time, you spend a lot of time just for real interference with just good happiness and all this and that. Why would that be? And then looking at, here it is, my own talent. And I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. So it does matter, right? So when we spent a lot of time with it not mattering to, here it is, one thing or the other, but we go over this, go, oh, this is a computer, oh, this is what they think, oh, this is what, oh, look, oh, look, we're gonna do that. I said, Lord have mercy. You understand? Okay. So, anyway, when I got up earlier today, to run some errands, it was just like a full thought about war and war within the United States. Okay, and we're not talking about a riot. We're talking about a freaking war. Okay, um, and I was just like, okay, but that wasn't really my thought. However, the thing is that if this thing is trying to be like, it's wanting people to accept. Now I've already explained to people about accept and scepter. Okay, so now we're talking about crown. Okay, we're talking about the crown, and we're talking about that little staff, the little stick. Okay, boop, boop, boop. Hold on. We do not accept. So accept is ACCEPT, okay? We do not accept none of that. You understand? I think that it's a what the hell? No, indeed not. So anyway, like I said earlier, I mean, people want to be like, oh, well, we're with technology. If listen, I mean, I understand like the little Facebook account did what it did, but if we went into a technology something, baby, I'm gonna let you know right now, and it's gonna be a little bit more than that thing on Facebook account. You understand what I mean? Technology, and yet here it is that is driven on technology is not manual. Okay, I mean, it's one thing to talk about looking at banking, or to talk about not only looking at banking, but looking at, being on the World Wide Web, looking at being, technology when it comes down to our manufacturing, technology in the hospitals. Technology is everywhere, but baby, don't mean this I play. I said, who and green eggs and ham is freaking with the dang on technology thought. Back in the day, we used to have this big old conversation about Russia and Cuba and technology and that little, push the button type thing. So anyway, I had wrote something on Facebook in regards to Vladimir Putin, and I was just like, I was asking some questions. I was like, what they trying to do? Start a war? I mean, they gonna ask this man something about some children or something. I just had my questions. I just wanted to know, right? So anyway, I was just like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would he want to do anything with the children? I didn't read all the details. I was just making a comment on what I had read on the headlines. And so anyway, I'm like, well, first of all, over here trying to say he'd be with you. I said, are you crazy? The United States is sending money over there to dang on Russia, Ukraine, Russia. Now I just started to cry a little bit. I cried a little bit, and the reason I cried because the things in regards to just even looking at black people and the preparation, not only of safety and protection, not only with the laws, but to be at a guard or infantry or just in preparation around the world to, take part in trying to save ourselves. I mean, this motherfucker is gonna ask me about dang on Russia. Listen, hold on. Russia was over here with Fidel Castro. And I'm like, okay, for a lot of people, they calling out Fidel Castro like here it is, it was a good thing. But then when I went to whatchamajigget, some of them people were kind of colorist when it came down to seeing black people. So I understand that it was occupied or there was a coup over there, but it was more than what we think to be trying to praise him because he went over there to Angola. That's a whole nother Angola kind of conversation. You heard me? The conditions for some of the people who are black in Cuba wasn't like that. Even though they want to show you the woman, and the whole little Cohiba community, boo hoo, it's not like that. So I said, well, no. I said, I'm not looking at Russia like that. Like here it is, over here it is. You gonna invite them up because I was like, what you misunderstood. But I cried because I'm here in the United States, and we would hear about we have people who served in the military, whether they had their own brigade or not. But I honestly believe that we need to have a brigade, and apparently throughout history, I'm not the only woman or only person. I don't want to just say it was just woman alone, but person. We're going all the way back to Marcus Garvey in the 30s, before we even talk about going into World War II, that you saw these men or Marcus Garvey on that ship before we got to the Black Star ship. You understand what I'm saying? Do you not see those Navy men in those pictures? Of course you do. Okay, we ain't just talking about here it is the Air Force. Talk about Tuskegee Airmen. And we ain't just sitting there talking about the little rinky dink, doobie soldiers, okay? Coming out of Black Brigade. So we already know that there have been histories of Black people being in the military, and we do have Black people who are in the military. But I cried a little bit because I'm like, well, you know what? These people, they claim that they invest with us, but from my experience and what Irene Ratliff was going through, I'm like, why would these people be trying to worry my mind or my thoughts about here it is, Baltimore? And then I'm like, well, those people ain't worried about things like that. You heard me? Oh, this is a gang. I said, a gang? Baby, baby, baby. My Facebook account was accessed. I couldn't get into here it is my account. They changed my name. They put up a picture. And then Facebook blocked my account. But then yet we saw other notable people, even though this is something a little bit. I mean, did somebody just change my name, change my picture? But I guess there were some notable people if we had to talk about Trump or any numerous amount of other people. But my account was not suspended on that. And then I'm like, well, if it had anything to do with my conversation, then they talking about, well, here it is linking up with this one. The link. I was like, I just looked at that and just said, man, that's sad. I'm like, I'm like, what the world? Say here it is. We went to so and so and said, yet here it is. There was no interaction or conversation that was of value for it to be, you know what I mean? And I guess we shouldn't say something like that when we saw people coming out forward for George Floyd. But if these people want us to approve that they're able to, that's what? To be like we're okay with these people and not terrorizing the people. Look, what do you people think? Oh, we can do this. Oh, look, that's a live execution, and then nobody's there to help you. We want to okay that. I hope not. So anyway, I was like, okay, we had the conversation, and they wanted to talk about this. And it's like I don't know what that person is doing. If they able to do all the things that they sit there talking about, here it is, all that dang old lusted and sexy and stuff. I mean, some people may not take this exercise for real. We just gay. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, no, anyway, I was just like, well, hold on. When I was traveling, what I had noticed was that um, there was we didn't have a search and rescue. There was no preparation for us to go and help. It was just not a ready set of paid volunteers that was just ready to exercise, whatever that was. And so we just sitting around this other dang old thing, what a makeup, here it is. They all got the freaked up ass story. And I'm like, I have contacted, at first I was just like, okay, the way I want a street meet to be set up is that if people were looking for it, that in and itself, I am for history. And so that's the same thing looking at that Facebook account and then my account being tapped into that. Of course, I want to save all my stuff on Facebook. You heard me? Because if we was looking at technology, let me go back and look at technology again and talk about history. What happens with technology, people get so comfortable with just posting the pictures and stuff that they don't print out the pictures. Okay, so then all your memories and everything that you may have, and that's it. Said we're not. Hold on, this is nothing new. Okay, the technology scope is nothing new. Oh, hold on. Okay. Oh, oh Lord. Oh, this thing. Come here, Heifer. All right. Oh, excuse me. Technology is nothing new. Okay, and what I mean by that is, we would get some later on we were getting some pictures, anonymous pictures and stuff like that. We'll see these different pictures, etc. But anyway, if technology is what we as we know, all these CD-ROMs, I want to say they call it ROMs, but I'm not going to search it. And then you have a power engine such as Facebook saying that they're have the capacity to delete without any retention or whatever, or somebody's trying to get their account and they just become nonchalant, or that's what it was. We can't find it. We can't. It's a problem. Okay. Now, it's a problem. Okay. So if we're looking at technology, it's looking at just everything, just not no technology at all. If you didn't print any pictures, you won't have no history. And so when you start asking your family, like, oh, where is your grandmother photos, your great grandmother, I mean, whatever pieces of whatever you have of your photos of your family members. So they will say, okay, now cameras only come around maybe what, 1930s, because we had cameras in 1930s. I mean, we had, people was able to do film and do World War II. And I mean, apparently there were some cameras. We had some photos or paintings in 1900. Are you understanding what I'm saying about them talking about, here it is, how we want to do live execution, and look what we doing to this. You see what I'm saying? You see where there's a problem to talk about technology, but I can't sign on to Facebook. I'm not looking at that extreme, but it was just from the conversation or thought or just listening, and then them talking about what they're able to do. And then just for real, that thought to talk about the city of Los Angeles and why they want this to be a concentrated area. Everybody else, oh, everything is fluffy, everything is okay. No, it's not. But to try to continue to be here, like, and I started talking about Hollywood as a city. This is where you start finding your film, and they wanted to talk about Hollywood and stuff like that. I'm like, hold up, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like literally, it does not. 5150. Um, I'm like, no, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. But if no, we do not accept again um, the scope of them talking about technology, and then to use the technology uh, to exercise sky medicine. You heard me? Not even Sky Medicine, but they'll tell you how they're able to harm you using lasers and stuff like that. You understand? Okay. So I'm like, well, yeah, we seen George Floyd and all of that. Yeah. But no, they wanted to build it up something different, bigger and better. And I'm like, well, what's this bait? Say, here it is, a good person. All of them were good. Oh, let's drive it nuts. But they want to sit there and say something about that. I said, now here it is, you go. However, the thing is, the question is the question. Not only are they talking about Vladimir Putin, I don't know the potency right now of talking about Trump. But I mean, he's really trying to become the president again. There was so much that they were able to do behind Trump talking about the United States government. There's people who are sitting fat right now just on that gas link. Are you listening to me? So even though we may have had somebody who was elected, there was somebody who was in those walls of the United States government that had participated. So the question would be, who was all of them? But then I mean, now we're going someplace else. But there's some people who sitting around getting a fat check just on gas. Okay, so technology. Uh-uh. Baby boohoo. Technology is almost everything that's existed in this industrial world, okay? Or technology world. You'll be able to do it and look at, maybe some people who, like the Amish or something, and no, but that's for real. But we can look at them and say, okay, you get some people, oh, but we gotta start over. If you want to start over, you just go to any of these underdeveloped countries and start over. Go on your farmland or something to make it happen. But for real though, St. Patrick Day and talk about 317. So I encourage people to read 317 as well. We're talking about saving. Okay, but the thing is that we ain't trying to save these people who trying to do us wrong. Okay, so I will start and after a while. I mean, again, just kind of be like this, but contacting some people in regards to these little space weapons. I mean, we can't be back, and I'll make sure that I point that out first. That we can have a full conversation about mental health, but then we're talking about, here it is, domestic terrorism. We're talking about domestic abuse. Okay, for these people, and then we all eyeing and we missing out on everything else. Then there's a whole lot going on behind their backdrop that we do not see. Okay, so I'm like, well, I don't know if it was any comments that I had made yesterday that had caused that, my Facebook account to be, hijacked. I don't know. But the same thing, I mean, I had a good time at the little place that's where I wanted to go. I saw the little Irish girls dancing, the little Ireland dance and everything. And there was just dancing around. And I was just like, okay, I was going to get ready to change my little decorations. I said, hold up. We're with the Jolly Green Giant and everything. And then, just kind of flexing a little bit, just like, again, just kind of wind it down. And then my Facebook account has been up as long as I can think of it. I think maybe once or twice after something was posted about that KKK thing. When that was posted, a little KKK picture that I posted, I mean, they took it down then. So I would say this would be well, this one right here is because somebody hacked my stuff. That one, they wanted to talk about their community, and I didn't even say anything wrong with that. I was like, honey, they had stopped my account because I don't know if it was a senator or somebody who was dressed up in KKK, and I was just like, I don't know what I wrote, but I was like, it was nothing. I didn't think it was anything for them to, tell me I couldn't get on here. Yeah, I was like, honey, they got me misunderstood. Hmm. So anyway, that's what's up. I don't know what's going on. Again, I mean, to talk about technology and then them trying to say, okay, well, over here to the and down that goes into something else. That means that something else is trying to entice something other than you understand. Okay, so me now being on my other channel, I don't have no problem with that. The thing is, though, with myself, to myself, by myself, in my own space, and then that became a reflection of what these people want. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. It was already existing way before your time. You know what I mean? And then I was listening to something, and they who are warmongers, okay? People who do different. We have a matter of fact. There's so many different little operations, and then that's why I'm like, well, this little noise, it's an operation. You know, when Bush came, he had a something called Operation Open. Okay, and so that Operation Open, we could look at Sojourner. I say Sojourner. You could look call it something else. But you know, to talk about an open book, have the little open book. And I said, Lord have mercy. I said, if there's anything that what they want us to be all upset, and I'm just like, well, here it is. You know, don't get me misunderstood. Of course, we want to be at peace. And we don't want to entertain these people who feel like they got the mic. Oh, look what we're fighting for you. Oh, we're gonna. Oh, that's what you're thinking. Oh, yeah, that sounds so good. Then at that point, then where we at? And so I started to cry when they wanted to go back and forth and try to compare. Here it is, that thought to here it is, my efforts, and then yet, you know, I'm right now to look at the things that I need to do to try to protect myself. Just little little bitty things like that, man. Then they want to look at here it is, this character here, and then yet he talking about some tanks. Which we need both day go tanks. What you mean? That don't make no sense. Yeah, you can buy a tank. Want to buy a tank? You know you can buy a tank, right? We got GSA. We got you could buy almost any of those different things like that. That stuff is for sale. We got people who buying ships. Okay, we got big old. That's for real. Yes, indeed. I said, well, I don't know. I don't think that I would say anything bad, but I mean, if we were looking at, I just start looking at where our environment, where that noise is probably in communication, as if, you know, we wanted to start anew, like we just wanted to be new. And so anyway, early on when I guess when they went, there was this picture. I don't want to say that it looked like me, but they were just so driven at trying to drag me into talking about one thing and the other. I just said, you don't see all these scholarly people and these educated people and these people who, you know what I mean? What in the world? Why is it looking way over there like that? But it was, when I get back on, I'm going to show you guys the picture. You know, that's the thing about Facebook. You know, we post our stuff on that thing like that. How we gonna get our pictures? You suspend how you gonna get your pictures? Huh? How you gonna retrieve? Here it is. As a matter of fact, I put it on there, downloaded a copy. Have it didn't download transmission? Huh? It doesn't make any sense. So, you know, to talk about technology, you could lose a whole lot. Now the thing is you know, hey, when computers came out, they had DOS system. You know, you typed, you had to hit the manual typewriter, then you hit the electric, then we ended up getting the DOS computer, and then and then this. I mean, there was a lot of people who were doing a lot of stuff manually. That wasn't that long ago, my love. Yet they would have, yeah, they do it faster than here. There's something else in the technology. I don't know. Facebook because I am I think that I had started writing. I had sent them. It was like we need X amount of dollars to get this thing where we able to publish our stuff and get it all connected in such a way. And I mean, I meant that like even from yesterday. Okay, about trying to maintain and keep up with here it is our face right, your pictures. People have their phone and they just book, 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 and they just download the pictures. You get your phone, you have your phone, and you put the little chip in there, and then your phone has so many X amount of pictures. But if you don't upload them or you correct, I'm sorry, anyway, thank you for listening, Irene Ratliff. I was talking about Facebook. I had unauthorized access. I wanted to know, or not wanted to know, but I was just sharing whatever that comment was the date, that evening before. My account was actually accessed and changed about not war itself, but to look at our environment and then us taking on some kind of acceptance or unacceptance to these to that noise, just wanting us to build up a thought. Build up a thought about keep it here. We don't want to keep that here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, for myself personally, I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like it. And then if it want to be like it's a driving force or they trying to help us real, what I mean by real, we're just minding our own business. And then here it is, something says it to you, and then now it's trying to reel a thought. Okay, so if you have these people who feel like they have such a manpower, well, mind control, or they're really, it's a form of war. Okay, and so again, I mean, I like reiterating, I don't know about here it is, all the 5150 stories, but then to look at Hollywood, and then I mean, we got producers out here, movie producers, television producers, people that help string further a thought that maybe perhaps some of those people think that they're safe or think that here it is, it doesn't matter. And then yet when we're going back and forth just with that thought, thinking about that man who may have had, here it is, a black woman, his son is white, but yet he was like, ugh, to hear it is the thought of being, the view of, see, I don't know, but it's just like, well, then, all this length of time, we're talking about a long time, them going back and forth, talking about interracial, different religions and stuff like that. Who's going to help who? Like we on a tug of war. Right now, this don't have shit to do with no good or bad. I mean, this is bad, and then we just good people, okay? That's not a form of security that I think that we would want for ourselves like that. But for them to be going, look with the technology. I'm like, honey, that's no joke. Technology, these lights is technology. You understand what I'm saying? The lights is technology. Matter of fact, here it is, the water that we get coming from them pipes is technology. You heard me? Talk to your thing that's is wires attached to that. You heard me? All of that. What you mean technology? Or it was unauthorized access, and then yet the noise. Oh, but look, we hear those people. I'm like, honey, I don't give a fire and flip of green eggs and hams, baby. I mean, to talk contact, here it is, the green giant on them got them green beans to try to get up there to, here it is, that dang on king, because I want my stuff. You see what I'm saying? You think Jack, I think Jack went up there to go get his stuff. Jack and the Beanstalk went up there to go get his stuff, and that dang on harp was talking smack. She probably wanted to go. I don't know. We got a couple of different versions. She was playing the music, and maybe she was just kind of caught up. I mean, I'm one of them. Anyway, just move. I mean, I shouldn't be suspended out of my account. And these lives and these reels, and maybe the thought of something else outside of ourselves that's trying to um, um, use or a particular environment for violence, and then to look at homeland security. And while we're looking at homeland security, all the other local, then all those things in between. You understand? Okay. I just know that for street meat and for Irene Ratliff, here it is in all the good effort. It didn't build up that way. And that noise just wanted to be like we were just here on the streets, or and it's, man, this shit is good. I was like, baby, we don't have to go way out there. And here it is, the government, you know what I mean, has a lot of that information already. But then they want to sit there and talk about, well, here it is, we looking at that big ass wolf. Oh, grandma, what big eyes you have? Oh, what big ears you have? Oh, what big mouth you have? That stuff is for real. You we had to tone it up and tone it down a little bit, even for the